there is watching, definitely want a sponsorship. I'll prove to you my receipts too.
We are live. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the stream. I'm joined today by Salem as well as Joey, and we're going to be doing some live sourcing for Walmart. So I've been really just enjoying Walmart to Walmart flips recently. I've also been delving a little bit into Amazon to Walmart. Not an expert at all, but it's so crazy to me how many ways you can flip on Walmart. There's also an insane amount of tools that are coming out. Salem is repping Martyr. There's so many other tools out there that I've just been testing. Everyone is great. Martyr has their Pioneers bundle. I've also been testing out Sellify, Bismetrica. So, my recommendation is basically the space is new. All of these tools are working their hardest to create their best tool. Try them out, see which one works. And each one does a little bit of a different thing. See which one works into your workflow. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about sourcing, software, and just how to get started. So what's up, gentlemen?
What's up?
What's going on, boys? What's going on?
I feel lame. You were in Italy. Salem was in Vegas. I just been sitting here sourcing in Orlando.
Yeah, it was definitely a trip. I was still sourcing while there.
I mean, at least you're in Florida. I'm in Ohio, so it's cool.
That's true. I did get about a good solid 4.5 hours worth of content filmed from Target. I learned a lot myself too about flipping Target to Walmart. So
I have not been able to, aside from like the Sonic items, I have not found anything like repeatedly good. Walmart clearance aisles near me, always a banger. I just pull up, check there, even some grocery stuff, but I've not yet been able to like repeatedly find a decent amount of profit at Target.
Well, I got about 11 buys for you today, so you'll have to wait till Monday.
As you guys saw today, I did do some retail arbitrage today. Okay, I literally found not one thing, literally at all. Everything was overpriced, so I took my ass home. But I did go out there today. I think it's kind of, I don't want to say saturated where I'm at, but I think the deals, I'm kind of just like late on them because I live right by the mall, and so it's like always popping during the weekends, and I think people just clear it out. So I think I'm going to go back out there Saturday morning and actually do some RA, like do a RA day. So I'll let you guys know how it is.
For sure. There's that just goes back to what we were talking about. There are so many ways, again, for sourcing on Walmart, like Walmart to Walmart, Target to Walmart. There's just so many different avenues that you can take. It's going to be different depending on where you are, even OA, everything. So really just find your rhythm, especially like Salem trying out RA, there's just like never stick to one business model, always just be going and, testing it out.
You got to diversify, baby. You got to diversify.
I started off doing it, but I feel like the prices now are like kind of worse, like at Ross, they kind of mark their stuff up a little bit more, I realized recently.
Yeah, I think you'll notice that a lot of the sales from an RA standpoint end after their post-Christmas clearance, like in January. And then what you find, a lot of the sales is the seasonal stuff. You'll find a lot of seasonal stuff. I'm surprised they rolled out Easter so fast. I mean, you got I got to get a new light, bro. My light is slipping, so that's the only reason why I look pretty today. But you'll find a lot of seasonal stuff, like Valentine's Day stuff's out. I would assume probably within the next couple of weeks they're going to start discounting Easter stuff already, just because Easter's so late this year. So they'll be rolling out their Memorial Day or Mother's Day stuff, their Memorial Day, Father's Day stuff, all at the same time.
For sure. I still need to get back onto sourcing for Easter. Just to recheck in with the chat, we've been going for about 4 minutes now. I just want to reset it a little bit. If everyone could just know where they're from. We have someone put Florida. I believe we got some other people here. Just curious where everyone's watching from. Also, we have a Joey fan here. Joey definitely has a pretty face tonight. And then let's see who we got. We got We got Sadiq. Oh, we lost Salem. Just watching. We got Kevin. Of course, we have BWC Deals.
Lakeland, that's not too far from me. I was there today.
We got Pennsylvania. Got a decent crowd tonight. So, yeah, as I said in the beginning, we're going to be talking about how to source for Walmart. Just going over all of the secret sauce. So, as Sadiq said, how to get rich like me. I am the furthest thing from rich, but I will tell you how I find products to sell in Walmart and how I make a decent amount of money. So, when it comes to sourcing on Walmart, there's no right shoe. Everyone will always say, like, this is the way. I mean, acronyms are being created like daily. You'll have like T to W for Target to Walmart, W to W for Walgreens to Walmart. I mean, there's like a new acronym every single day. The thing is that Walmart works just like Amazon. You can source from anywhere, but it also works differently than Amazon. There's a ton of places that you can source from that you can't do for Amazon. And one of those places is like in-store. So there is no in-store with Amazon versus Walmart. Walmart, a lot of people are trying to figure out what brands sell well, what products sell well. Well, you already have the data. You have Walmart. Walmart is a multi-billion-dollar company. They do over $600 billion a year in their retail stores. And people associate their brand with certain products, certain brands as well, different categories. And there's like a certain demographic that buys those products and then online. And if you can tap into that data, you have the answers to what products sell well. So, for example, I walked into a Walmart. I did not know what sells. This is about 3 years ago. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to see what's selling on the clearance aisle, see what I can find, and then use that data as reference, and then go ahead and like resource those brands. So I walked in and I found a Squishmallow just chilling on the shelf. I scanned it. It was selling for like, at that point, it wasn't on clearance. It was selling for about $7. I'm like, okay, I can flip this, make a decent amount. Nothing crazy. And then I went ahead and I looked for more Squishmallow products, and I see that those are products where Walmart is in and out of stock in the buy box from time to time. Walmart is in and out of stock in the buy box. So there's a lot of like nuances that you can learn within each brand. Another brand that I learned is Lego. And Salem and Joey have also their own experience. I know Joey, he's like really into learning the cycles, learning the clearance cycles, and then finding out the best way to go ahead and to then hit each one for the Walmart. I've learned a ton about like RA. So the way that you're going to learn to source Walmart is, number one, pick your business model, because you're going to slow yourself down if you're switching from business to business model. The one caveat I will say is you can take things from other businesses. So for example, instead of just having everything shipped from Walmart to my own house, I now do a little bit of RA because I'll order it for pickup. This has helped me get around cancellations and everything, as well as, like I said, I can go to the clearance aisle and I can see if there's anything there. And I'm already profitable for my trip. That's a little tip that I learned from Joey. I'm also giving sourcing tips that I can to Joey. Salem's giving tips to both of us. So the key to sourcing for Walmart is basically like, don't, kind of put yourself into a hole where you're only doing one method. Kind of take a little bit of inspiration from other methods. So yeah, I think I just went a whole monologue, but what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, I
We lost you a little bit.
That's so. Am I good? Is that?
Lost you a little bit. Is that me?
I think it's because Salem has. Do you still have the Zoom open? Yeah, I think it's because you. I think he's running both, but I'll tell you. It's because you. I think he's running both, but I'll tell you. It's because you. I think he's running both, but I'll tell you. Yeah, okay. You got to stay muted, Salem. I think because you're running both. But I agree 100%. I think you don't want to pigeonhole yourself into one area, but I think you'll also open up other things that you won't realize. Like I was never necessarily against having a VA, but Salem and I share a VA strictly for Walmart right now, and I've found myself taking the VA leads, especially if they're from Walmart, and throwing them in my stock checker and looking to see if I can find it even lower locally. And then I have an opportunity to grab it for a cheaper price than everybody else that's buying online, and also have an opportunity to sell it, fulfill it, and I can get sales the same day, whereas they're doing OA to a prep center, and I am, probably 7 to 10 days ahead of the sales curve, and I could already buy and source and sell my product before theirs even get checked in. So I still do heavy WFS too, but when the opportunity presents itself, like you said, if you know that it's creating yourself profit, then why not take advantage? It's like if I have something that I know sells 150 items a month at WFS, I might keep 20 of them to sell seller fulfilled while my order is in transit on the way there, because I know it's going to take 5 to 7 days to check in and start selling, and I don't want
For
to lose
sure.
those sales.
For sure. And I think another thing is something that you mentioned was two things actually. Number one is opportunity. So like going back to RA and OA and like picking different business models. A lot of my OA leads have led to like RA opportunities, but also they've led to wholesale. Like I go and I find brands for those wholesalers. I find wholesalers for those brands. And like, with I think on the Amazon mentality is like, I'm an OA seller. I'm a wholesale seller. Like a lot of people, it's like very tribal. Versus like Walmart, I'm not really seeing that. A lot of sellers are like they're doing both. They're doing three things. You can do multiple different ways of sourcing because they blend in so a lot easier than on Amazon. We got some questions. All right. So what do you do if those items are out of stock on one of your suppliers' websites? So depends. If it is out of stock, and I'm assuming if it's already been sold, I guess there's two cases. If it's a replen, I'll just wait. If it's out of stock, there's a couple of different sites that you can set monitors for it. You can have your VA look at it, add it to a Google Sheet, do all of that. If you already have an order for it and it's out of stock, I would try and find it any way you can, either Amazon, try and pick it up in store. Maybe you have to buy it from a competitor and on Amazon or something, and then sell it to your Walmart customer. Everything to just protect those metrics. If worse comes to worse, I've canceled orders before, but you want to be on top of that and just make sure that there is a glitch where Walmart will sometimes like put your 0 inventory to 1 or 2, and unfortunately, there's the only way to prevent that is just by either fulfilling it or canceling it. Joe, any thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't really do a lot of wholesale, but I mean, I would say, from an RA and OA standpoint, I think, you can always Google search and see if you can find the item, being price match somewhere if you're doing OA. And then for RA, like I said, I mean, depending upon where you're getting it from, but, local stock checkers, you can just go to walmart.com and find the item. And if you do pickup, you can see if stores have stock in your area nearby, and then make a trip out there. I mean, when I first got on Walmart, I don't know, it doesn't happen that much now, but you used to run out of seller fulfilled inventory and it would sell units anyway, like that you didn't have. And they're very strict on cancellations. So I would literally throw the UPC of an item that I didn't even have in the stock checker and pay retail price to try to be able to keep my, cancellation metric at 0. And doing that, I mean, I lost a little bit of money, but I think I was on the platform for like 9 months before I had to cancel my first order.
Wow. That's pretty good. I mean, I've had to cancel a few. Thankfully, my volume is decent to where I can keep it under that 2%, but they do not play around. If it gets over that, Walmart will shut you down. I've learned firsthand. I've had my seller fulfilled suspended twice. So it's annoying to get it back and make sure you're just on top of that. So I do also want to do some sourcing tonight. We're about 13 to 15 minutes in. I think we did the intro. We'll get 2 more questions and then we'll start to do some sourcing. And we're also live on Zoom as well as other platforms. So we'll make sure to get to everyone's questions. I appreciate everyone for watching. And if you have a question or anything, just put it in the chat and we'll get to it. I am brand new to Walmart, so this is probably a Salem question. Walmart effective selling tool to source in store, or should I try and list and publish? I'll let you finish that.
Can he answer? Zoom? Yeah, I don't think he can answer.
I'll do that. Okay.
I got you.
Yeah.
Martyr is effective in store, but if you're specifically in a Walmart, you're going to want to use the Walmart selling app, the shopping app, because that's going to give you the most up-to-date store price, right? Like I have examples of items that say the clearance sticker will say $28, but they ring up at $4. So if you scan with Martyr, you're going to get the online price, which could be even higher than the $28. You wouldn't know that by using Martyr. So it is effective. It can be a little bit slow and lag a little bit when doing RA. If you're in a different store like Target, I was using Martyr today when I was in Target. I also use Scan Power regularly because I can toggle back and forth between Walmart and Amazon, and I can jump into Keepa because the more data you have, the better off your buy is going to be. And as far as if it's a brand that's new to me, I would always list the first item in store to make sure it publishes. However, Martyr does have a nice function in the top right or top left hand corner of the app. Underneath the brand, it'll tell you if people have reported that the brand requires ungating or not. That is a very useful tool if you're new, because you don't want to invest a lot of capital in brands that you have to get ungated on, because ungating right now take about 2 months to get ungated in a brand.
Yeah, got to get those ungates in. Best bank to start out with for my new LLC, Chase, Capital One. You can't really go wrong. I personally like Chase, but
Yeah, I'm with Chase. I think it really depends on your needs. I think a lot of people prefer like local credit unions if they have a relationship already. And then if you're looking to get like in the future, get like business loans or lines of credit, stuff like that. Like there are certain credit unions, like I know like Navy Federal is like excellent with things like that. But obviously you got to have like some ties to the armed forces to get in that.
Yeah, I wish you could. All right, so those are all for the questions. Let's go ahead and do some live sourcing. Salem, if you're able to mute your Zoom, I'm not sure if you can. You can mute the audio. But, okay, people came for some sourcing. For the next 40 minutes or so, we'll do some sourcing, and then we'll take more questions. And I appreciate everyone for watching. All right, how do I present? Bear with me. Technical difficulties. Wow, I'm huge. Technical difficulties. Wow, I'm huge. Screen. I still hear myself, unfortunately. Okay, so when I'm selling on Walmart, I think let's just start it from the beginner's perspective, right? So I have no idea what sells. I don't know what categories. I don't know what products to start with. As Joey mentioned before, when you're going to a Walmart, you can very quickly go in and see what products are selling, and just, that's a great way. But let's say, you're like me, you don't like to go out, you don't want to, you want to stay in your house, order products OA, the more superior way to going in and selling online. What you can do is just take a look at what products they're pushing. Okay, so from the homepage, I see pharmacy, I see beauty, food, patio stuff. And then you also have to kind of reference that with like, what do you think will sell? Well, these are really bulky. I don't want to sell these chairs. Clothing, it has a high return rate. And as a complete beginner, you might not know that. But that's also why you have the community. So like you can also ask us for these starting points. But a great way that I go ahead and I would sell on Walmart is I like to sell toys. And you'll kind of see that right here. Toys, baby products, wellness, personal care, grocery. These products all do well. Home and patio do well as well. But as a beginner, as well as fashion, they're not really beginner friendly, in my opinion. So what I'll do then is also, we can take a look at the Pokemon that just popped up. I actually want to see. Walmart just dropped something. So I'm going to see if I can get that. But what I'll do is I'll start in those categories. So in toys, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to put toys. And then I'm going to see what products pop up. And I'm also going to take a look at all of the data. And again, we're not doing this with any software at the moment. I just put in the word toys. So the results for toys are 1,000 plus. And taking a look at some of the brands, I can see that all of the sponsored ones are from mini brands. We have mini brands, MGA's, Universe. So all of these products are being sponsored. And we don't know who is sponsoring them just yet. We can open those up, see who the retailer is. The other thing is that any product under $10 is something that I really don't usually look at. The reason is because Walmart charges you a $1 fee for any product that you sell WFS under $10. If you're selling these WFS and your margins are fine, then by all means go for it. But personally, I just avoid those products. So we have right here, we have MGA Universe being sold for $18.26. We have Mega Blocks, Playday. Yep.
Are you sharing?
It's on YouTube.
Oh, sorry.
So I go onto the brand. I go into MGA. Sorry, I skipped a step. So I skipped 2 steps actually. Okay, so going back to those products, I see. Okay, where was I? Okay, so I see Lego, VTech, we have all of these brands. And here we have mini brands again. So mini brands, what I'm seeing right here is they're advertising hard on Walmart. I see three sponsored products. I see a sponsored brand video. They're also putting a lot of traffic towards this product. So this means that there's probably like a lot of potential there. It just depends on the makeup of the brand. So next, what I can do is I can just quickly take the brand name, and you can do this, I think, with other tools as well. I'm just going to use Sellify because it's the one I have up right now. I can go to the brand data, and I can take a look at what they're showing me. So of 81 listings from mini brands, 56.8% of them have Walmart in stock on those listings. That means that there is roughly 44% of listings where it's third-party seller. Next, I see WFS. So only 40% of listings have a WFS offer in stock on those listings. And then lastly, I see 44% pro seller. So what this tells me is there's 44% right here of opportunity with third-party sellers on this brand. Additionally, not a lot of those sellers are WFS, as well as not a lot of those are pro seller. So there really is some opportunity to go ahead and to dig in a little bit deeper into this brand. Going to the sellers, I see Walmart dominates on 10 listings, G&H Liquidators, MJ Entertainment, and I'm paying attention to these names because the Liquidators, that might not be someone I can compete with. Maybe they just get the product really cheap and then they're able to just sell, again, really cheaply, and I can't compete against them. MJ Entertainment, none of these are familiar to me, so no red flags. But I see 12.5% WFS, a lot of merchant fulfilled on these because, like I said, anything under $10, you're going to have that extra fee, and 25% Walmart. And a lot of these are also out of stock. So based on all of this information, I can see there might be some opportunity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right back here. I'm going to go to the brand listing, and I'm going to take a look. Okay, so now with mini brands, I see all of these listings, 7, 6, and you can go ahead and you can set filters. So you see Sellify set preset filters for you. So now this is all of that in kind of in these results. The other thing is I can set the price filters to be above 10 if I wanted to, or I can just open Sellify and it's going to scan all of these listings right here. And I see who's in the buy box. So Walmart's in the buy box, Walmart's in the buy box. I'm going to skip all of these. Walmart's in the buy box. Let's find the ones that had right here. So MJ Entertainment is selling this for $878, and they're the only seller on this listing. This thing has 32 reviews. This could be a good lead. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at it. Opening it up, I see there's a single as well as there's a 3-pack. The 3-pack looks like it's a Walmart pack, so I don't know if I can sell that. But coming to the single one, we see the price history has pretty much eroded a lot, actually. So it was selling for $14.80, and let's see, at $8.98 we would need, we need to like $3 cost to be, it's not even in our target ROI too. So that's not even worth it for me. I need this to be at least $12, maybe $11 in for sale price. Let's take a look. Okay, so we have Toy Wiz at 20. There's no way I can get this at I could, even if I could get it for like $1 per unit or $2 per unit, there's just so many other sellers with a ton of units in stock. This person has 390, so I'm going to pass on this product right here. Coming back to some of the other ones, we see that Walmart is mostly in stock. Walmart. Okay, so here's one for $12.83, which is a decent price, as we saw with the other one. And as I'm analyzing these products, I'm learning about the brand. Okay, so I know that the price range now goes from like 6 something to 7 something. And that's typically where Walmart will sit. So if I see anything above that, it's usually a third-party seller, or it's an indicator that there's a third-party seller. And it just creates that opportunity for me to again, learn where I see that opportunity. So again, Walmart was here at 764, and then third-party sellers brought that all the way up to 15. That is another instance where we can potentially buy from Walmart to then flip onto Walmart. But again, I'm just spitballing here, and all of these are just things that I'm taking from the information and then using to analyze the data and see, is this a profitable product? If not, is it a profitable brand? Are there sellers on here that I can then go ahead and do a deeper dive on? That's how you learn brands and how you learn the products on Walmart. So I had no idea about mini brands. I knew it was popular. I've seen it on TikTok, but now I have a deeper understanding of the market on Walmart. Coming back down here, let's take a look. So we have this person at $12.83. So these people are pretty much in line. Looks like the price has been pretty stable. coming here, everyone's more or less at that price, 1283, 1284. There are a ton of units though, so again, might be something I pass on. Let's take a look at the verified review count. Yeah, this thing's not really selling that well to my eyes. A lot of fake reviews, it looks like. But these guys have so much in WFS. Let's take a look at the estimated sales. Okay, not enough data. This would be an instance where I'd open it up in a different tool. So that's why I like using dual tools. You can open it up in Martyr, you can open it up in Bismetrica, and take a look to get a little bit more under the hood. Because each software has its strong points, and I think that's kind of where you can hop off onto a different tool, and then start to look at the data there. But there's a lot of promise in this brand. I'm not sure if it's OA friendly. This might be something where you'd have to probably do RA or get it on clearance or something, because you need it at a ridiculously low price to be profitable. But again, we just learned another brand, and we delved a little deeper, and then we saw that it didn't make sense for us. Going back to the toys, where were we? We also saw MGAs. So I'm just going to pause real quick, see what the questions are. Okay, what software is that? That is Sellify.
Yeah, I tried to answer a couple of them while you were going at it.
Yeah, let's just take a quick breather. Okay, so we got Salem here.
Okay, yeah, I fixed it. I think we're good now. I had to join from my phone. Sorry. Wow.
Welcome back, brother.
Back to reality.
Okay. Wow.
I want to make Joey big. Joey big. Oh, I can.
Oh. I'm big enough, bro. I'm big enough. Yeah, let Salem take all the questions.
There
now.
we go.
He's been muted for
Let's reset a little bit. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that sourcing session. The goal is we're not really finding products. We could do that in another stream. I just kind of want to show you how I analyze the data. Walmart gives you, people say it gives you very little data, but you have data at your fingertips. You don't need software. Software is great. As you saw, I used Sellify. Salem uses Martyr. There's just a lot of opportunity. I'm hearing myself again. But the goal is use the data that Walmart gives you to learn about the platform, learn what brands sell, learn what products sell. Every product, you can find products to sell in every category and every brand, but start with the ones that actually do well first on Walmart. Start with the ones that have already resellers who are selling it, that Walmart is selling them themselves. Walmart goes in and out of stock a lot in these brands. Walmart creates the listings and they do all the heavy lifting for you. So start with those brands, then build out your catalog. And I think it's just the easiest way to grow as a beginner. Okay, so let's get to a couple of questions. Salem, you're able to answer?
Yes, of course.
Okay. I feel like I've been talking a little too long. Okay. I'll let you take this one.
Can we avoid big brands like Velcro, Gerber, Nike, Adidas, and so forth if we're reselling in brand new condition? What do you mean by avoid them? If you're selling them in new condition, you can sell them. I wouldn't necessarily avoid them. I mean, me personally, I've sold Nike on Walmart. I bought 75 units of an item and it sold out less than 24 hours. It was a bestseller Nike accessory. And I had no issues with it. I unfortunately wasn't able to restock it, but there was no issue with that. I'm not familiar with Velcro or Gerber, but you should be okay to do it as long as you're buying it from a reputable source and you're able to list it. I get emails from brands sometimes. Like today, I got one from Discovery, and they just wanted to know where I purchased the item. I sent them the invoice, gave them my business information, and they just said no problem. So as long as you document everything and there's other sellers on there, you should be fine.
Perfect. That's Joey. You can. He answered. Whoops. Does Walmart have a meltable season like Amazon? Let's put Joey in the hot seat. I'm having too much fun. You're on mute, brother.
I think he's muted.
My bad. I did answer this in the chat, but there isn't technically a multiple season, but they tell you in their 27-page shipping guide that they have some facilities that don't have climate control and they're not responsible. So you are responsible for the condition of your product and how it gets to WFS and how it gets to the client. So use your best judgment. If you're, in Salem and Noah's area, you could probably get away with it for a little bit longer. But being that it hit 75 yesterday, I'm not touching multiple stuff right now.
Yeah, I'd recommend just seller fulfilling it personally. If it's not like hot where you're at. I mean, I sold Halloween candy in October, and I live in the Midwest. It's just easier that way. But to Joey's point, you just never know how it's gonna get to the customer, which you don't want that.
Very
So
true. Halloween is like more towards the end of the year. We're coming up at the time where I would start to phase out, especially as March. It's going to get hot everywhere around the country. The rule of thumb that I always go by is like operate under Amazon's way of thinking, and that will more or less like be a good guideline. What software is that? That is called Sellify. SELLFY. Code NOAH100 gets you your first month free. Okay. Joseph Edelman. I think I've seen you in the chat before. I'm starting to try and like recognize who's our regulars. Okay. Do you find that listings with WFS competition generally sell better because if multiple companies are actually sending them in, they're probably selling? So yes, on two fronts. Number one, just because someone's sending it in WFS doesn't mean that it's selling. You have to take a look at the types of sellers. So take, for example, ToyWiz. ToyWiz is a massive company. They probably do tens of millions of dollars a year. Just because they're sending it in doesn't mean that it sells. I've seen them test a lot of things. They'll usually send in like 10 to anywhere between 10 and 30 units. And you'll start to see that once you start to look at the brand, you'll start to notice the sellers. There's the big guys. There's ToyWiz. There's Drop Air. You'll start to notice all of them. You'll become familiar, and you'll really start to know what is an appropriate inventory count. If you're seeing like smaller sellers on there, and you're starting to notice that like there's like 10 different offers, all of them have ranging counts between like 5 units all the way up to 50 units of WFS, then it's a pretty good indicator that it's selling. The other thing is that WFS listings tend to convert better on Walmart. They tend to offer faster shipping. It just also tends to increase buy box share and everything like that. So if it is being WFS fulfilled, that is a good sign to me, but it's not an indication that it sells. It has to come hand in hand with the reviews, hand in hand with everything else. If the data is not really concrete, I'll test it, but it's not the only thing. What is a resale certificate? A resale certificate is a document that you can get from your state to purchase things tax-free. That doesn't mean that you don't have to pay tax. If you're selling on Amazon and Walmart, they will collect the sales tax for you, but it will allow you to purchase products for resale. Okay, I keep clicking on Joey's answers. Versus where it's all merchant fulfilled, and then it might just be. You also have to take a look at the type of product. There's a lot of products that can't be seller fulfilled, like pesticides. I'll let Joey answer this one because I think he's more knowledge on this than I do.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain things that you can't send in. There are certain things that when you try to convert them, you'll get an error message, but you can still seller fulfill them. Some of it is insecticides. Some of it, I've had issues where I had listings that sold that I sent in, like deodorant. But in certain states, it contains an ingredient that may be considered a pesticide or harmful, and they won't actually Walmart fulfill it in one state if it's against the law in another state. And even though I can seller fulfill it, I can't. So I've sent it in, had an error, and had to recall it and then resell it seller fulfilled. And it was weird. It still showed the error message, but because my inventory was seller fulfilled, it actually republished. So yeah, there's a lot of things that could indicate sales, but a lot of them, doesn't matter. But I mean, like me, I send everything Walmart fulfilled now to test. Like I don't even see a point in testing it seller fulfilled.
yeah, and also with me personally, like with metrics, I know we talked about earlier when I couldn't speak about the metrics being a big thing, and for me, the last few times I have done seller fulfilled, because I do like 5%, it's always been an issue with it being late, like the metrics getting smacked. So like I'm kind of done with it as well. And I think just overall, WFS is just way better. And the biggest thing you have to remember too is like, there are no placement fees, there are not huge shipping fees. So, I mean, just the ease of just sending it out in a big ass box that you could fill up for that cheap is kind of like a no brainer to me. But that's just me personally.
I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt. A BAB, a big ass box.
Yeah, I like that. A BAB. I like that. But
Best
yeah, if you do seller fulfilled, just speaking with Joey, do UPS or FedEx. Please do not do USPS. Even if it's $3 more, just trust me. Just do UPS or FedEx because you will get smacked. I've lost a lot of money doing that. So just FYI.
You can also, Joe, you want to speak on about the FedEx program?
Yeah, I'll touch on that just because I have somebody DM'd me in Discord asking me a question about shipping. So there is a way if you have a FedEx business account and you have your Walmart account. FedEx business account is free, by the way. Walmart account, obviously, that's free as well. But you can link those two together, and you will get super cheap. Shout out BWC for this if he's still on. I don't know. But he's the first one that told me about this like a year ago. And literally sending FedEx home delivery 2-day from Florida to Texas to California, $5 to $7 for under a pound, and over a pound was like $8. So there are some options, but that's one of the criteria when I sell or fulfill. I want to know that I have enough profit in the item that I can afford to use FedEx or UPS, just so that the metrics with the post office are very delayed, and Walmart's API is already delayed. So those two delays combined will really jack up your shipping metrics and could get you suspended.
Account metrics and health are just as important as repricing, like what's the point in sourcing if you don't have good account metrics? So make sure that everything on that end is good. Walmart is very strict with it, and definitely like make sure everything is up and up. Best WFS distributor supplier, please. It just depends on, you have to reach out to the brands, reach out to the suppliers. There is no best one. They all work. I have a supplier that's super saturated.
Yeah, I mean, find the one closest to you, because the easiest way to save money over your competitors, if you're all buying from the same place, is have less shipping. That's about the only way.
Yeah. Also with that, a lot of suppliers do offer shipping, and once you kind of get enough orders from different distributors, suppliers, you kind of realize when one charges you a large amount. So always do your due diligence and try to get a freight quote if you can from Google, and simply by calling, and just Google, freight quotes in my area, and you could save. I've saved like $300 on an order once because I did that. So that's a tip for anybody with distributors out there.
That's a good tip. Actually, I didn't realize that. But yeah, all of them work. You just gotta find them and see what products sell on Walmart. What happened to the meetup? That's going to be this Saturday. So I'm going to be doing a meetup in New Jersey. If anyone wants to attend, reach out to me on Instagram. Can you say more about conversion of seller fulfilled to WFS? I keep getting validation errors. So it's probably something in the file that you're uploading, or it could be if you're doing single upload, could be an issue just with that product. I've seen a lot of validation errors. I've tried also doing bulk upload that fixes it. Other times it's just like, it's hard to say without seeing it, but try finagling with it a little bit and it should fix.
Yeah, you can also go to your activity feed and click on the errors. It'll tell you what the error is. It could be just as simple as a cell. If you have one cell offset in like bulk upload, the whole sheet will kick back. Yeah. So you could add like 15 items. You had one cell off in one item. The other 14 are not going to convert.
Very true. Also, if we can get a smash on the thumbs up button, we're streaming to both Salem and Joey's channel, as well as mine. So show some love.
I'm into the 21st century now.
You are.
Right as we're getting into the 22nd.
Okay. Is there a product selling for X amount that you have had a third-party seller with a very significantly low price selling that same product, but listed on a different brand? Do you think that is a scam? I'm assuming like the counterfeit, like where you'll see like the Chinese brands or something like that selling the products.
Oh, like the Miss Rachel dolls.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
the
I think
Rachel
what you'll
dolls on it.
see the most on Walmart is multiple listings because it's a lot easier to create your own listing. But you just have to do your due diligence. Like obviously, if Walmart's on the listing, it's a little bit easier to tell. Or if there are reviews on the listing, like I'll get multiple listings that'll pop up on one UPC, and I'll go with the one that has the most reviews. Yeah.
I sometimes also split it if there's two different listings too. Like, some like Joey, like one had I think like 700 reviews. It was a Lego, and the other one had like 200. So I did like 30% to the lower review one, and then 70% to the other. So you could always do it that way, but I wouldn't do that if there's more than two listings because the Miss Rachel dolls, I think there was like what 10 to 20 listings at one point.
Yeah, I mean it happens a lot. I mean, I still
It's
see
crazy.
2 or 3 listings all
Yeah.
the time popping
The
up. I mean,
Sonic thing alone had like I don't even know.
yeah. So I mean, anything that's popular, you can bet somebody's going to do a fake listing. There's unfortunately as many sellers as they're adding onto the marketplace. I think 30+% of new sellers are from China. So, and I think the new LTL discount thing is going to probably create more. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll see how it plays out, but don't hop on those listings if you see like the listing is clearly. I think there was like a Taylor Swift advent calendar, and the brand name was like Xiaozing or something. I forgot what it was, but don't hop on that. That's clearly something that
If
Walmart.
the brand looks like the alphabet,
Yeah,
stay away.
they're going to crack down on it. I know they already are. What to do if there's a lot of competition on Amazon, Walmart, and all of that? Just goes by case basis. There's listings that sell 10,000 a month that I'm okay with, like seeing 50 sellers on, because the listing's moving. If the listing's moving 5 units a month and there's 10 sellers, that's something that it's not something that I want to go on. But also, markets change very quickly, dynamics change. Just because the listing might not be good now, monitor it. Always add it if it looks good and you're confident that it could have potentially improve. Add it to a Google sheet. Add it to PriceLink. Shout out PriceLink. And monitor it and just like keep track of it. There's always going to be competition right now. Pokemon super hot. Everyone's looking at it, but everyone's ignoring all the other listings. Like me and Salem and Joey were talking about Squishmallow or Spider-Man and all these things. These listings sell very well on Walmart year round. They're not sexy, but you don't have to sell you don't have to sell the top thing that everyone's selling. You can just sell as long as you're making money. That's all. That's all. That's it.
I don't know, man. Profit's pretty sexy to me. So if it's,
I haven't secured one Pokemon.
I'm just jealous as well.
No.
That was my way of saying I haven't secured.
well, to the point, like I did secure some, and there's got to be 70, 80 people on that listing, and I sold all 45 of mine in 2 days, or 40 of mine in 2 days. So, it really depends on how much. Obviously, on a listing like that, you're going to buy as much as you can, as often as you can. But
That boy just straight flexed on us.
on some listings, you're just not going to go as deep as you would on others. Like that's, if you think something sells X amount of times a month and there's 50 sellers on it, and the data tells you the buy box is getting shared, you take that amount, divide it by 50, and maybe you buy half of that, and just see.
Yeah. We have a question from the Zoom. How do we link up FedEx Business and Walmart FedEx account?
I have it. I sent it to somebody recently. If I can find it in my DMs, I will put it. Actually, I can put it in the chat. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, it's in the Zoom, or you can put it in the stream. I'm sure they'll see it. All right, where was I? Speaking of WFS, petition. Speaking of WFS, how do you guys deal with all the lost inventory? And WFS Walmart is known for. I don't really know if they're known for lost inventory. I mean, I've had a decent amount. They're growing. Walmart distribution is really interesting. Like, it's not like Amazon where you send it to one fulfillment center and then it spreads out. It's kind of like, especially at the smaller scale, you send it to one inventory into one facility, and then it stays there, and then it's shipped out to the entire country from your facility. They're at the higher level. Once you start doing like FTL and everything else, there you can choose your station, and then they will also spread out your inventory as well as also once Walmart learns more about your inventory. They're still new. Like WFS is what, 2 years old, 3 years old maybe. So it does happen, but I've always been reimbursed very quickly. I know Salem uses Refund Stacker. Do you have a code or anything for discount?
Yeah, I think if you just put Salem in there, the one thing I do want to say though is a lot of people like they do take 25%. I will say that, but to me, there's been so many times where my VA might not be working, or like they're very strict on the window that you're able to open up a case on a shipment. So if you're over that window because you forget to look at it or you're not on top of it, you're not going to get reimbursed. So I just personally like to delegate it, and they literally handle everything for you. They send you like a nice invoice at the end of the month with all your cases, all that stuff. But to Noah's point, it is very easy to do. And from my knowledge, I got reimbursed today, and they are still paying very well. So
Yeah.
hopefully it stays like that.
Yeah, I mean, across all of last year, I was under 2%, so below my Amazon returns. Now I do a lot of apparel on Amazon, but outside of January, even it was better. I will say that my returns are probably a lot less sellable as brand new, because especially returns that happen in the store. But it's still below 2% across. I think I just hit 14,000 orders since I started. So, I mean, it is what it is.
It's pretty decent. I'm jealous. Yeah. So just before we get into any more questions, we're coming up on the hour mark. So I'm just going to pitch our Walmart Playbook Live. So this, as we were talking about sourcing, mentality, and everything, that's really great as a beginner learning how to source. But how do you apply that? What brands do you sell? What methods do you use? What software? Everything else. Well, that's why me, Joey, and Salem created the Walmart Playbook Live. Selling on Walmart is difficult. Sourcing for Walmart is hard. But our goal is to make that easy. And taking all of our combined knowledge, we went ahead and we created the Walmart Playbook Live. So I'm going to share my screen.
Yes, sir.
Technical difficulties. Screen. Screen. Okay. So the Walmart Playbook Live is a 7-day live event that goes over everything that you need to know for sourcing on Walmart. Our goal is to make sourcing on Walmart simple, stupid, or stupid, simple. I forgot how that goes, but you get the point. So we're going to be starting March 17th, and this is going to be, like I said, a 7-day live training where you're going to get access to about a 2, 3, or even 4 hour per night stream where we're going to be answering your questions directly, going over everything that you need to know for selling on Walmart. We're going to be talking about RA. We're going to be talking about OA. We're going to be talking about Walmart to Walmart. We're going to be covering every different method that we know and how we've had success with selling on Walmart. We're also not just going to be going and doing like demonstrations saying, oh, do this, this, and this. We're also going to be showing you real live examples of leads that we've bought in the past, pretty recent leads, analyzing why we bought them, how we found them, why we bought them in terms of like the market and everything, repricing, everything that you need to know, again, for sourcing on Walmart. So that is going to start March 17th. And you're not only going to get access to the lives, you're also going to get access to the recordings. You're going to get access to the school community and our group. You're going to get access to VA guides, ungating guides, and all the other guides that we include there. And there's a lot more. So this list, like I said, starts March 17th. And this is the price. So normally it's $397, or you can do the monthly plan. But once we hit 50 members, we are going to get rid of this coupon code. The coupon code is Walmart50. So if you come right here and you click register now and you enter in Walmart, all capital letters, 50, it's going to take this price down to $347. So for $347, you get access to over about 30 to 40 hours worth of video content going over everything that you need to know for sourcing on Walmart. You're going to get access to 3 coaches where you get direct access to Joey, Salem, and myself going over all of the knowledge that we have for sourcing on Walmart. And we do a combined $300K per month selling on Walmart. Now, that's not to brag, or it's not to say like, oh, we know everything, but we have a lot of experience with selling on Walmart. Joey does about $50K per month in retail arbitrage. Salem does over 50K per month working a full-time job, and I do mostly wholesale as well as online arbitrage on Walmart. So between the three of us, we have a really great dynamic, and we know the brands that do well on Walmart. We know sourcing in and out, and we're hoping to go ahead and to make that knowledge actionable for you, as well as to make it plug and play. So that's why we call it the playbook. And again, that starts March 17th. So with the code, we're almost filled up in terms of 50 members. And once that is filled up, it will no longer work. So that is Walmart 50. I'm going to put the link one more time if anyone is interested. And the one thing I also did not mention is that we have a 5-day money back guarantee. So if you are not happy, you're not satisfied, you didn't think that the playbook was for you, message us and I will give you a full refund, no questions asked. Because we're that confident that it will work. You know, like I said, we're putting a lot of effort into this. This is going to be a great time. And I know some of the people in the chat are already signed up. So I'm looking forward to seeing everyone there. Okay, so back to more questions because I know the people don't just want to see the pitch.
Yeah, I will say this. I spent, like from an RA standpoint, really trying to like deep dive into like how to source these stores. I think that's the biggest challenge that people come into. Like, oh, I need to wait for a sale. Oh, this, oh, that. Like, I'm planning on sourcing, 5 to 8 stores this week. I rocked out at 3 Walmart or at Targets today, put together a 22 point PowerPoint slide. And I still got a couple more slides to add to it. And honestly, I was learning stuff myself. Things that Target has changed in the last like 3 months. So there's money to be made every day. You don't have to wait for, the President's Day sale or, the 4th of July sale. I mean, those things help, but so we're hoping that it's going to give everyone a leg up and put more profit in your pocket.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the thing I wanted to add, like for those who are already on Walmart or who don't know, like there are constantly changes. I'm talking about nearly almost every day. Not always like big changes, but there are a lot of changes, and it sometimes is a lot to keep up on. So we'll be going over like more recent ones that there are. There's different structures that they're doing. So like I said, things are always changing. I've been on there for almost 2.5 years now, and it's like night and day from what it was now to then. So I couldn't imagine like for you, Noah, because you've been selling on there longer, like how you feel about the growth on it too. But
Shout out Mel. Emails in the chat. Bizmetrica.
well, it's good, Mel.
Shout out.
Shout out.
More profit in your pocket. I like that as well. Okay, so again, that's the Walmart 50 for anyone who wants to join. We start March 17th. That is, I'm bad at math. What is that, 5 days away? So we really want to see everyone in there. Like I said, it's going to be a great time. This is going to be a live event. You're going to get access to me, Joey, and Salem. I mean, I've already said all of this, but yeah, it's going to be a great time. You're going to get access to all recordings. And once we hit that 50 members, that coupon goes away. So definitely join up if you're interested, and looking forward to seeing everyone there. All right, let's finish off strong with some questions. Okay, lost where we were. Got to ship some babies out real quick. Interesting. Good luck with that.
Cabbage kids.
Walmart is allowing drop shipping? No, that is a big no. Abdullah, do not do that.
Yeah, don't do that, bro.
Justice for Abdullah's account. I'm gonna be pre-printing that.
Yeah, it's not worth you don't want to own a business and be like you just don't want to do stuff the wrong way, and that's unfortunately the wrong way. I know in the past you could get away with it, or they allowed it initially, but now I would not even try it.
They hate it. They hate it.
Yeah.
I was talking with Walmart, a Walmart rep, and like I said the word drop shipping, like her eyes like they become so alert. They're training. It's like day one. You can drop ship from wholesale suppliers. That's how I do it. I have my manufacturer ship directly to the Walmart customer. It needs to be in a blank box. It needs to meet several other criteria, but you cannot ship from other retailers. They explicitly state it. They do not like it. Do not do it. How are IP complaints handled on Walmart? So IP complaints are handled a little differently than Amazon. Number one, there's no dashboard. You don't see any of that information. You can go ahead and they're going to email you whenever you have an IP complaint on a product. And you have to respond pretty quickly. you can go ahead and you can submit invoices to get them handled. Most of the time, I just delete the product and I haven't had an issue. But make sure to retire that item or just remove it from your catalog as quickly as possible, as well as to save that activity feed for when you actually retire it, so that you have proof. And I know it's been an issue in a little bit. What's your guys' take on that?
So for me, there's a couple different IPs. So it all depends on the wording. One of the IPs happens to be where the listing title or keywords in the description claim to be authentic or genuine, and they don't like that. They just want you to list like what it is. So a lot of those you can actually fight and open a case and just submit a title change. But then, the good thing is they're not shutting you down unless they've given you like 2 or 3. They sent you an email saying, "Hey, this brand's going to go away." The brand sent you an email. Then you got another email saying, "Hey, you need to get out of this product." And then the most recently, though, it's been a 7-day suspension. So that has been what I've heard has been going around. 7-day suspension, and then you got to submit a plan of action.
Yeah, and then your funds are frozen. I think you're put on the payment hold for 90 days.
Yeah, you get put back on the hold. So they hold a lot of your funds for 90 days.
Please recommend best distributor. Again, it just comes down to like your. I know everyone wants the best distributor. Like
Pilotfly, next deal.
Yeah, 88 lots. It just comes down to like you have to put in the work. You have to put in the work to go ahead and contact these brands. All of my distributors come from years of going to trade shows. Some of my distributors were not good in the beginning, but then opportunities opened up. Things are always changing. Try and build your database. I can give you a supplier right now. Doesn't mean that you're going to find profitable product from them. There's a supplier who I don't buy any of products regularly. I only buy them when their products are discontinued. So they carry like a line of products. When the brands discontinue a product, I'll buy those products, and then that's the only reason that I'll buy from them. Maybe it's like every month I'll purchase $1,000 to $2,000 PO, but every supplier is different, so you got to put in those reps. Where can we buy the Walmart 1-in-1? Ooh, merch.
Oh, I can make something. I got you, Jeff.
Ooh. Are there hard gates? Yes, there are hard gates. There are plenty of hard gates. There are different ones. So there's ones that issue trademark. There's ones that IP complaints and all of those. I wouldn't necessarily call those hard gates. I would call them brands to avoid. Then there are hard gates. So a great example is brands that Walmart owns, like Equate, Mainstays, any of those. Just stay away from them because you're not going to be able to list them. Then there are other brands that Walmart has a collaboration with. There's a couple of different examples, but there are hard gates.
Yeah.
Did one of you guys write this? That's sweet.
No,
No.
you didn't take me to Italy, so
Next time.
Again, the Walmart playbook. Shout out Joey. And Walmart 50 is that discount code. So we did have a question on that. Let me just pop that up real quick. We will have access to you. Yes. So you're not going to have like direct access to us for live calls and everything after the playbook, but you will have access to all the recordings, as well as me, Joey, and Salem will be in the school community. So you can always post comments once you're in that community, and we'll answer very quickly. So you will have access to us. That's where I was. How do you go about finding the products that are selling on Walmart somewhere else at lower cost? I have found great products that are selling very well, but I can't find them cheaper. Just
my initial thing is find cheaper products, or source somewhere else. I mean, it really depends on like what kind of products you're finding. I mean, there's plenty of products that sell well that are not profitable, right? Like that you just can't get access to, right? Like, everybody talks about Procter and Gamble. I think they have like what $250,000 a week or a month minimum buy to get directly from them. Or if you don't have a big enough buying power, you have to pay through like 3 different middlemen. I would go into a Walmart and see what's popular in a Walmart. I love RA, but I literally hate Walmart. I don't go shopping there for anything, personally. But there's no better place to learn. I mean, where else can you just walk into like you're basically just walking into their warehouse. Like everything that they sell in their warehouse is in their store. So you just walk into the store, find out, like if you say you haven't found enough products, you haven't scanned enough in my mind. There's literally things on the Walmart shelf that you can buy full price and sell on Walmart.com because they themselves don't sell them on Walmart.com. Like a lot of people don't realize that there's plenty of things that get sold in the store that are limited quantities that they do not sell online. If you can find one of those, I mean, I have constant things that I walk into a store, pick up, and sell them for 250% markup on Walmart.com, and it allows me to publish it. And sometimes I'm the only seller, so it's easy money.
Yeah, I remember when I started, I went to a Walmart that's like 30 minutes away, and I hate driving, like as you guys already know. But anyways, there was a mouthwash. It's called like Smart Mouth or something like that. It was like $1.50. I was selling them on Walmart for $22, like hotcakes. And to that person's question, like it took me a minute to find something that was like that profitable and that like cheap, so to say. But like you have to just keep looking, like Joey said, and make sure you try other stores too, like Target. There's some local stores that have good stuff as well, depending on what business model they're in. I know here locally there's like pallet places that sell like bins full of like, stuff from the pallets example. So you could think like outside the box with it, but there is always something at Walmart. Like today I just didn't look hard enough, but there's always something to pick up.
Well, also too, set good expectations, right? If you're doing RA, I think somewhere around like 40% gross margin is good. OA, you're probably looking at 25%, and then brand direct and wholesale probably a little bit lower. Like as you grow up in the food chain, you're going down in percentage, but you're going up in volume to offset that. You know what I mean? To put more money in your pocket, and it's more hands off. The more obviously, the more you go up.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely true. Comes down to just capital, I feel like, at that point.
Yes, buying power. I talked to a guy the other day, and he's like, "My minimum PO 60,000." I was like, "Yeah, I'll call you back." So
I wish.
Yeah.
That
I
would-
lost a lot of money when I started doing wholesale last year, that's for sure. I've definitely learned so much from my mistakes, but I definitely ate a decent amount of money for multiple reasons. So yeah, make sure you're doing good before you jump into that if that's what you want to do.
Also, you don't have to start out so big as well. I will say that I think a lot of the brands I work with, the MOQ is I think it's like maybe $500. There's plenty of wholesalers that you could find. You don't have to You don't have to go for the Procter and Gambles and anything like that. Start small. Start with the small brands. If you find a distributor who has like maybe a 5K MOQ, but they're legitimate, they have references, they have all of that stuff. Just try and do your due diligence. It's always look for reasons not to buy, rather than looking for reasons rather than saying like, okay, they have a product, let me go and buy it. Vetting a supplier is just as good as a skill as like looking and analyzing a listing, just as important. All right, so we're coming up on the 30 marks, 9:30, so we're going to end soon. But again, make sure to check out the playbook. If you have any questions, be sure you can also message Joey, Salem, or myself, and we'll be happy to answer. Just to also reiterate, this coupon does cap out soon. We're almost at that 50 mark, so the next 5 or so people who take advantage of this deal will get in for $347. And we also, like I said, have that 5-day money back guarantee. If you get an authentic complaint from a customer, what type of documentation do you have to provide? Is it similar to Amazon? It is similar to Amazon. I think I got one. I didn't get, this is like a year or two ago, so I'm part of the old wave, not the new wave of IP complaints. But for my IP complaint, they didn't suspend me. I just had to submit an invoice. My payments were put on pause, and that was basically it. But I think for the new ones, from what I'm hearing, is that they'll send you an email. You have to respond to it. And if you don't respond to it, then they'll suspend you. Joey, is that correct?
Yeah, and you have to retire the item. We keep saying retire because you can't delete a Walmart fulfilled item. So if it's seller fulfilled, you can delete it. If it's Walmart fulfilled, you have to retire it. So yeah, you need to retire it. as soon as possible.
Is it okay to source from stores like Ollie's? Yeah, there's
Absolutely.
no store.
I got a whole segment on bringing Ollie's back, bro. Like, it used to be, bro. It used to be my favorite store to source because I literally have a round trip around the entire state of Florida where I can hit 21 Ollie's in 3 days, and I used to do it once every like 6 weeks, and I'm telling you, it was like 5,000 units, like 6x12 U-Haul packed, floor to ceiling, profit. But
Feeling good driving back, I'm sure, with the music
man, like
pumping, bro.
just you hit. I got a little fancy thing on in my truck that tells me the weight of what I'm towing, and I'm like, I'm just carrying cash home. Like, but yeah, there's a lot of tanking, so there's a couple.
Shout out Cody.
Yeah, there's a couple different methods you can source Ollie's, but yeah, absolutely, like Ollie's is great.
I believe like everyone, I think it was last year, everyone was complaining that all the tankers were tanking like Amazon Ollie leads. But it's nice to see a revival. All right. Maybe I'll get permission from any big brands so that I can resell them on any platform. Yeah, that's definitely a business model that you could take. I believe Misha Flips, or I forgot his name, just got permission to sell Lego, which is huge. But like, you don't need to sell those brands. You can sell those brands anyways once you get ungated on Walmart. But you don't need permission. You don't need to like go for the Nike. Like, why go for the brand that you're going to have to put a lot of legwork in? Like, you can't just go to Lego or Nike, or let's use a smaller example. You can't just go to like, I don't know, $1 billion company even, which is crazy to say, and say like, hey, let me sell your products. Let me get the exclusive on Walmart. Like, why would they go to you over? Maybe they will. Maybe you have like an advertising something in place. Maybe you have a lot of proven track records. Maybe you can do something for them. And if you do, leverage that skill. But like, why put yourself in a disadvantage if you don't have those skills? Like, the brands that I target, they're brands that do $5 million a year, D2C, and then maybe their Amazon or Walmart listings are not crazy big. One of the brands I target only does about $100K per year on Amazon, but I am the exclusive seller and I get all of those sales. So like, you don't have to sell $1 billion or even $1 million brand. Just find the small ones, build a nice size pie. If you're selling 25,000 a year of one brand and there's very little returns, not a lot of headache, profits good, get another 2 or 3 brands like that. You're now at 100K or 75K per year in sales from all of those brands. Repeat that, rinse, repeat. Find other brands where you can get a nice slice of the pie. And like I said, it's not stagnant. There's brands that I work with. There's a brand that I haven't sold in 3 years. I have a brand direct account. Recently, they stopped selling to Amazon because of the Amazon stopped buying it through the 1P program. So now all the third-party sellers are like, everyone's off because they just didn't want to sell it because Amazon was dominating the buy box. I just like instantly saw that through a Keepa alert, and I just jumped back on, and I'm selling those products. So opportunities will come and go for all of these different brands, all of these different suppliers. Your goal is just to stay on top of that and to make sure that you're able to capitalize on those opportunities from your distributors, from your suppliers. Always be building relationships.
Yep, call them and ask them a stupid question if you haven't talked to them in a minute, just to say what's up. That's what I do.
Yeah. Also send them gifts. I send my suppliers gifts there's one, this is a great story. This is actually my FedEx rep, but I think I sent you his that's Steve, who I sent you guys. I think it was like last Valentine's. I sent him a gift for chocolate. He had forgotten to get something for his wife. So he opened the door that night, and that was when my gift basket with chocolate arrived. And then he just like took it, and he didn't know who it was from. He just like saw my company name. He handed it to his wife, and he called me up the next day. Like that's a relationship that has paid off tenfold. And like, I send my suppliers gifts every year. I write cards to my sales reps, even to suppliers who I haven't bought from in a year. Just like sending them a $50 gift basket goes a long way.
Yeah, and that's another good point. Like my UPS store that I've been going to for 4 years now almost. There was a time where I was traveling and I had a seller fulfilled order pop through like early in the morning, and like I had to pack it and I couldn't drop it off, so I asked him to come grab it. Left it outside. He came to my apartment, grabbed it,
Wow.
dropped it off for me. And today he was talking to me about Pokemon cards, all geeked out about it. So like those little things go a long way for those people, and they work their ass off, all of them. They really do. So
Yeah, same thing for your drivers. If they're coming to pick up your orders at your house, especially with Walmart, you get free pickups from FedEx for WFS. So take care of your drivers out there.
Another thing that Joey taught me was to carry like business cards as well as other like gift cards and everything for in-store employees. I did that for one of my Walmart employees, and she'll now text me. Like, that was a huge thing. She now texts me whenever they're doing the clearance. So treat these people like people, and they'll help you out. It's not like about like, oh, scratch my back, scratch yours. It's just like they're people too. They work. If you appreciate them, they're gonna look out for you.
What goes around comes around.
Exactly. Also, you just reminded me, Joey, I have to book through a pirate ship to have USPS pick up tomorrow. So shout out you. Do receipts work on Walmart as well as invoices? Yes. Have you guys used receipts?
I've used Walmart receipts for all of my ungates. Have yet to get a, knock on wood, IP complaint. So
I haven't had to use one in a while. I mean, I ungated like Pokemon and stuff back in the day with the receipt, but I haven't had to do any of that, fortunately, recently.
Yeah, I just ungated. I always forget the name of the brand. It's like a small electronic brand, but I use a Walmart receipt from Walmart. It's for some LED lights or something. Their receipt worked fine. I've used receipts from Walmart for an IP complaint. That also worked. I have heard that some people have had issues with that, but I cannot attest to that. I've learned so much. Thank you, Stacy. I avoid stores like Ollie's for Amazon. Good to know. Maybe that's changed. I don't know. That's just what I heard. Make sure, guys, that you take advantage of coupons and so on. Most stores have apps and online that you can apply when you go in store. Ollie's has an app with offers and coupons signed up for it. Yep, very true. Every store has their different ways of distributing coupons, different ways that you can manufacture margin, tax advantage, gift cards, specific coupons, all of that. I know Ollie's is famous for their coupons. So always make sure that you're on top and like.
Yeah, they're also good for like 90 days. So if you guys are hitting them fast, hitting them hard, get in a group chat with some other people. I know people hit me up all the time like, hey, do you have an Ollie's coupon? Because basically every $300 you spend, you either get a 10% off, 15% off, or sometimes you'll get 25% off an individual item. And, so what I'll do is I'll use 10% off like my entire order. And then I'll find a big item, like a big toy, or, I was doing ceiling fans for a minute, and I would use that 25% off for the big item. And it's just more profit in the pocket, so.
Absolutely. Okay, we're coming up. We're going to end soon. Got to run, fellas. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff is a beast. He's, I don't know if he slept at all last night, but he was running on 36 hours.
Yeah, that man is all over the place.
How much capital does a beginner need to start in Walmart? You can start with as little as like $20-$30. I mean, I just did my first RA run. I went to the Walmart clearance. I bought like 2 things for $30. Flip that. It really scales. Walmart is not like Amazon where, you don't have to pay the $40 a month subscription. You don't need any tools. Tools are great, but you can literally start with $0. Obviously you need for product spend, but you can start with however much you can find a profitable product at.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is like what your goals are. I would always tell everybody, like, you don't need any software to start. You need to learn the system and what things are profitable and like do a lot of test buys. But the big thing is that most people aren't going to just start out and be like, oh, I want to be a full-time reseller, right? Like, so it's good to have a 9-to-5. Salem works every day. I recently just left my 9-to-5. Well, not really a 9-to-5, but left my full-time job. So I think the big thing is set goals, set realistic goals. Like if your goal is to like scale to $10,000 a month, that's doable with, a couple $1,000s in capital if you're going to do RA. Now, if you're trying to do wholesale, it's probably need a little bit more money to start. And you're probably going to have to go a little bit wider in your test buys. But yeah, I mean, if you're trying to make $100, you probably do $20, $30.
Exactly. I mean, especially if you're just starting out, you can really learn with just doing those little flips. Wholesale. If you find a wholesale supplier whose minimum purchase is $20, maybe do a little bit more due diligence. But absolutely, this business works however much you want it to work. There's ways to start sourcing with very little, and then as you scale, opportunities increase. All right, everyone, we lost Salem, so I guess we'll end off now. Appreciate everyone for watching and tuning in. We had a lot of views. I think we have 185 viewers
Nice.
across everything. So appreciate everyone for tuning in. The Walmart playbook closes in 5 days, and the coupon is about to run out. Appreciate everyone who signed up. I just posted the link. Again, that's walmartmastery.com. I have to shorten that link, /Walmart playbook landing page. Hopefully you can click on it or copy and paste it. And then the code for the full offer, not the payment plan, is Walmart50, which gets you $50 off. That comes with everything that we talked about. Comes with the live 7-day training, 3 to 4 hours. We will stream until we answer every question. I will stay on those streams until every question is answered. And all of the replays are going to be available within the school community. You get access to me, Joey, and Salem. You get access to ungating guides. You also get access to retail arbitrage guides, online arbitrage guides, and everything like that. So there's a lot of things that you get, more than I can even sit here and name off the top of my head. But be sure to go ahead and check it out. And more importantly, comes with a 5-day money-back guarantee. So we just got Salem back. So thank you, everyone, for attending. And we look forward to seeing you guys in the next stream. Have a good night.
Thank you, guys.
Great night.
Technical difficulties.